Cardinals are picking on the clock at 33rd overall, and I think the consensus is trade back if you can. But if you can't, what I'm seeing on the Twitter streets and the chat, they went Joey Porter Jr., the cornerback out of Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean, that's nice. I mean, it's cool to think about, but
you're not in love with that pick.
It's also awesome to think about, the possibility of really bolstering this offensive line.
Yeah.
And I think you have an opportunity to do that. I mean, think about the inconsistency at the center position that the Arizona Cardinals and their fan base has suffered for so long, far too long, right? And they tried to remedy it, and Rodney Hudson was going to become a free agent, and then Steve Keim was able to swoop in, and he gave a day 2 pickup to get Rodney Hudson.
Yep.
Rodney Hudson plays half the games in the last 2 seasons. Now, when he was healthy, he was really good. The Cardinals were really good. But when he wasn't healthy, the Arizona Cardinals lost. And they need to figure out, who their center of the future is going to be. And they have 3 options here. And they could go right away. They could take 33, and they can use it on John Michael Schmitz, the consensus top center. That seems like it's easy peasy lemon squeezy, right?
Well, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who they started center? Mason Cole, once upon a time, made a round pick of the Arizona Cardinals. So I don't know if they've got competition in Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh.
I mean, Joey Porter Sr. played for a lot of heavy downs for Pittsburgh, right?
And their cornerback room is Patrick Peterson.
Right.
So they could use. I think either one of those players, first-round caliber players, fall into the Cardinals at 33, you're in good shape. But I also think there's going to be a temptation for them to recoup some of those assets that they've lost on day 3 while also scoring. Because John Michael Schmitz, we like him. How much do the Cardinals like him? They didn't use a top 30 visit on him. They did meet with Steve Avila. They have strong ties to Luke Wypler. Like, they may just like those guys more for what they want to do offensively. So, I don't know. Michael Schmitz, though, to me, you get the best center and the best left tackle, and they're both Big Ten products. One went to Ohio State. Minnesota always contributes good offensive linemen. I mean, it's a dream for people who want to see this team impose their will up front. I mean, it has not been that case. It's the opposite of whatever Cliff Kingsbury was trying to do with that horizontal screen game. That would be the Cardinals' equivalent of the opposite end of drafting Paris Johnson Jr. and John Michael Schmitz.
You get away, though, you could try to go best player available versus premier position.
Yeah.
So, like, to your point about Porter, you got a corner who's going to immediately help, right? And I think you can say he's going to vie right out of the gates for playing time over an Antonio Hamilton Sr.
Well, he's 6'2". He's
a big kid.
Absolutely.
I mean, his dad was a big, imposing linebacker in his day, right?
Yeah.
And he's slimmed down. He's a lot more athletic than his dad, and he's a guy he's familiar. We talked to him at the Combine. Do you emphasize premium positions or best player available? Because I think if you're looking best player available, you're looking at the O'Cyrus Torrences of the world. You're looking at the Steve Avilas. Of course, you're looking at John Michael Schmitz.
Yeah.
But those aren't premium positions, guard and center, but are also positions that are important going forward for the Arizona Cardinals.
I think that Jonathan Gannon takes pride, I know he does, in taking afterthought DBs and safeties and making them into players. And that's not to say you can't trade for a Darius Slay once upon a time like Philadelphia did. I think they have a new way of team building, and their philosophy is we got to get big people up front on both sides of the ball, push people around. And I would say if there was a priority defensive lineman that was available, a guy who had a first-round grade that fell, I think he would be the option, like we talked about. But we saw a bunch of quality defensive linemen go off the board in the late 20s. And so I don't think defensive line's an option at 33, so I'm with you. I think it is going to be a corner, an offensive lineman, or a trade down.
Jacob, do we have our big board available? Can we see the latest big board and who's available? So the highest person on this board is Joey Porter. Will Levis is out of the conversation.
That's a joke.
Jacob's joking, kind of waving his mouse over him. Yeah, Will Levis, he remains in the green room. Michael Mayer, O'Cyrus Torrence, the guard.
He remains in the champagne room.
John Michael Schmitz.